And we are live. What's up, Stu?
Hey, Jim.
How's it going?
All is swell.
All is swell. That's
And
good.
you?
I am on track. I am on track in all things at the moment. I feel like, remember when we were kids, you had one of those slot car racing sets? Did you have one of those?
Hmm.
Do you have the little slot cars? You push down the thing and the little cars raced around the
Oh,
track?
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Did you, were your parents rich enough to get you the ones that would switch lanes?
No,
Me neither.
no.
Mine had mine. They were literally the slot thing. They had the little thing that
Yeah.
stuck down in there, and you had to ease off the gas as you were going around the curves. So what I would do, I had the Chattanooga Choo Choo, man, HO scale model train. So what I did was I made the track into a ramp, and then I stuck a toothpick down into the slot. So when the car hit it, it would come up out of the slot and launch itself. And I would time it so that the train was coming around the track and I'd have the car jump the train. That's how I got my jollies in the basement.
Hey, that's cool
And
stuff.
that was a lot of fun. And then if you could make the car jump the train and make the train whistle and have the smoke going and have the car jumping through the smoke puff, that was like some serious Dukes of Hazzard stuff
Oh,
going
yeah.
on right
Imagine if you
there.
had like slow motion video of that.
Yeah, I would have.
Weird.
I would have been one of those child YouTube stars.
Yeah, that'd have been sweet.
Did you do anything fun in your youth like that?
Oh, yeah. I had race car tracks. I had tree forts. I had a go kart
Wow,
that I built
wow.
out
Did
of
have
a
like a
lawnmower engine
wow. How
and a
fast would it go?
sprocket. I don't know, probably about 20, but it
Oh
was
dang!
yeah, but it was pretty nice, and it would spin like I could spin out. That was the cool thing. Blow some dirt on my neighbors.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So, other than that, just getting ready for Funnel Hacking Live next week. I have a couple of cool things I actually want to show you. Something neat that we talked about. Remember when I told you about Scriptcaster.io?
Yes. Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's all done. It's
Cool.
all done and it's deployed.
All right.
So when I get back from Funnel Hacking Live, I'll do the launch of that to everything. But I wanted to show everybody how that works because I'm actually pretty excited about it. It's pretty neat.
We gonna do that today or what? We're gonna do it another day.
We can. I mean, we're gonna. What you want to talk about first this morning probably isn't gonna take a half an hour. So
Oh,
just
no. I don't think it's gonna take very long, but it feels like we are procrastinating
in getting to it
with this topic. Yes.
Oh my God. That is like the cheesiest segue ever. It does feel like we're procrastinating with this topics too. It does. It feels like we're avoiding getting down to brass.
It's what we're doing. But you know what we're doing right now?
What?
We're naming it and taming it.
Okay.
Old psychological trick I used to use. I still use.
Psychological trick. You say name it and tame it. Took me back to when I hit puberty, but that was a different thing.
No, this is more like for me, I use it for when like I know I am procrastinating. Like I got something to do and I'm like finding other things to do instead of it. And I'm not getting down to it. Right. And sometimes you realize it's just hanging back here that it's just like, all right, I got to get this done. And I say to myself, I am procrastinating. I hear myself say it. I say it. And it's just like, okay, time to get it done. Right. It is. I don't know why that helps me, but that helps me go into that next level of actually getting started.
I think I'm going to butcher this, but I think there's a saying or truism or something called awareness is curative sometimes. Just by being aware of something and bringing it to the forefront, you can address it. It's when it's in the background that you're, I had that same thing happen to me this morning. I had to work on a presentation, and I had the weirdest crap coming up out of my head to do instead of this, like looking up people I haven't seen in 30 years on Facebook. I didn't care about that person 30 years ago. Why the heck would I go look for him on Facebook now? And then I did the same thing. I said to myself, man, you're really reaching right now. Why don't you stop screwing around and get it done? And I ended up getting it done really, really fast, and then went and did my exercising. So it's funny though how stuff will just the weirdest, dumbest crap will pop up.
So I've kind of given the answer to the topic, but I got this idea from your Jim's Gym that you do on your daily content, which, by the way, I really do enjoy those.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Jim's Gym, the Doc, the letting the chickens out, all those have some kind of message that's I find very useful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So anyway, yours one was recently about getting things done and taking consistent action, making it habitual, right? And so that was where I came up with, like, I kind of took it to another level of saying, I like to get things done. I make a list, I get it done, but there are always that one or two things that I put down at the bottom of the list, like unknowingly, that like that's like one of those things that I really don't want to do. So it's at the bottom of the list, and I may get to it, I may not, but I'm gonna put it off until I get it done. And eventually I have to just say, damn it, go ahead and get it done. And it was, for me, the old psychological trick, name it and tame it, really works for that, by just saying, all right, I'm procrastinating. But you can use that tool for many other things too. I used to use it when my kids have bad dreams. And like I said, okay, so tell me about your bad dream. What happened? Right. And I said, they would start telling me about it. And, and I said, well, let's give it a name. Let's give this dream a name. Right. And we'd come up with a silly name like
Ted,
Booger Eater, whatever, that was chasing you or whatever, and we'd giggle, and then he'd go back to sleep, so it's one of those things that I don't know why it works, by giving something a name. It just helps your brain categorize it and put it in a folder somewhere in a shelf back there, and you can just move on and carry on about your day without, having too many obtrusive thoughts coming in when you're able to name them as they occur.
Right. I think something that goes right along with that is another technique is not just naming it, but what you also did was kind of ridicule it. And then by ridiculing it, it takes away a lot of the significance and the scariness of doing it. So if you don't fully face the thing that you have not done yet, the pain of not doing it, the unknown of what it's going to be like to actually do it, the pushing through, the things you might miss out on, all these other things is bigger than the payoff of actually getting it done. But then by pulling, you use the metaphor kind of, it's back here, by pulling it around so you can look at it, see it for what it's worth, minimize its significance to a degree through naming it, ridiculing it, or just recognizing it, makes it easier to handle. And you're like, look, I'm spending more time, and then the right kind of self-talk. I'm spending more time jerking around on this than I would if I just got it done. Let's just get this done. And then another thing that you can do is look at it and say, okay, what's the payoff of getting this done right now? Then just kind of list off mentally real fast the payoffs of getting this over with. I can stop worrying about it. I don't have to, I can take it off my list. It's going to help me to do this and this and this. I'm going to, just listen. And even then you're like, look, your brain's just like, look, dude, just shut up. Let's do it. It's like, okay, let's do it. So that create more pleasure in doing it and more pain in not doing it. And I guarantee it'll get done.
Yeah. Eventually your brain just gets tired of making excuses.
Right.
Eventually.
it just gets done.
Yeah.
My thing is get tired of jerking around. It's just
Yeah.
like, stop jerking around. Let's get this done. I got stuff to do.
Well, there was something else about you. You had some things that if you're going to know what you're going to do. I wrote an article this last week called "Are You Mentally Ready?"
Uh-huh.
And then after one of your gems, or maybe it was a pie. I watch like 4 or 5 of your shows every week, so
I do a lot.
I do. I get some ideas here, and well, I put a little bonus section in the article,
Uh-huh.
and there's a quote that I put next to it, and it says, "If you can't stop thinking about it, don't stop working towards it."
Okay.
Right?
I like that.
And if you notice, there's 2 steps to that, right? Because anybody can just think about something, but that's not the same as working towards it, right? In fact, you broke it down even better into 4 parts. It says you have to know what you want to do, you have to know why you want to do it, or why you want it, and you have to believe that you can do it. You have to have faith that you are going to get it done. And faith is the removal of doubt. And then you have to take action, thoughtful, consistent action.
That's
also known as work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 5 steps, not 4, but
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the last step. Just get started on the first one. That's the motto. So
where did I see that you do that one? Was that at a gym also?
I created an entire full-length training on that called 5 Steps to Getting Anything You Want. Oh, I can teach that in 1 minute or in 3 days. I mean, it's a framework. Nice. Earl Nightingale said it best. He said, "You become what you think about most of the time." And so that's and a lot of people have used that, but it basically it's you become what you think about most of the time. And that what you think about most of the time with intense emotion, you become or manifest even faster. So that's something to keep in mind. If you can amp up the intense emotion around something, that's when you're going to get results a lot quicker, whether it's going for a workout or winning a race or writing a book or creating a course or driving traffic or solving a problem. You got to be emotionally involved, and not emotional like I need Xanax because I need to calm my hairy patootie down. It's you're emotionally involved, like I am going to get this solved. I really want this. You feel it at a gut level. It pulls you forward. It wakes you up in the morning. You can't wait to get to it. It puts you in bed at night, and your whole being is vibrating and magnetized towards it. That's the level of major achievement. And that's, for example, that's what I'm sure a lot of these guys that you train who go on to become Navy SEALs, Spec Ops, all that stuff. I mean, they live it, breathe it. That's all they think about. It becomes what I call the magnificent obsession, where they no matter what, I will not quit. I would rather die than quit. And that's the level of gut level commitment that you want to have.
Yeah, it's passion.
Right.
It's pure passion.
But passion isn't enough. You got to have passion with a plan and a commitment.
Of course.
But it's important because you hear that a lot, that people say, "Oh, you should follow your passion. Build a business around your passion." Well, there are a whole lot of yoga instructors that are on food stamps right now because they quit their job and followed their passion to be a yoga instructor. So passion is only part of the equation.
That is
Carlin asked a good question. I'll ask this to you, Stu. What is your trick if you don't think you have enough time to do it right now?
That's a tough one. My trick is I don't start it. I really don't, and okay. I set my schedule. I had to rework my schedule around that because, for instance, if I know there's something on my list that I need to get done, and it's going to take me, let's say, over an hour to do it, right? But in 30 minutes, I have to be somewhere else. I can't get that done right now. Right. And I don't necessarily want to start it, but I could. Maybe I could get an outline on it or something during that 30 minutes. But, part of my brain just doesn't allow me to do it. I have to set time later in the day. It might be off work hours, maybe after 8 p.m. that I actually have an hour to get it done, but I wake up early the next day to get it done, so it's I have to reschedule. If I don't think I have time, I have to, once again, if it's not in the schedule, it doesn't exist, and rework the schedule.
So my trick for doing that, and that's good. That's a good one. My trick is it depends on what it is. If it's something like what Stu's saying, it's just something I got to get done, like a presentation or something like that. What I have found is that the reason I'm procrastinating is because I'm looking at it as a whole rather than the sum of its parts. So if there's something I'm not doing because it seems really big and scary, the first thing I'll do is sit down and divide it up into a whole bunch of little parts. That makes it a lot less scary and makes it a lot easier to get it done. So I might only have a half an hour, but I'll divide everything. It's like I only have this much time and it's going to take me this much time. Well, you know what? First thing, I'm going to sit down and divide everything up. Then maybe I might come up with a title. Now that I've got a title for the presentation. Okay, cool. I've got 15 minutes left. Let me come up with the 3 points I know I want to cover. I'm not going to worry about what the names of them are, but here are the things. So now I go on to the next step. Let me now schedule time to outline this first step, and then the second step, and then the third step. And by then I've got so much momentum and I've got it rolling down the trail that I can keep the momentum going, because procrastination is a game of momentum. When you have procrastination, you have momentum in not doing something. What you want to do is turn that intense momentum onto getting moving in the proper direction, or just getting moving. So if we're talking about something that is a bigger thing, it's not a specific issue, but it's say a habit, or I'll use the example of exercise. So when I was not exercising for years, I said to myself, I couldn't imagine the stuff that I do now as a warm up, as even doing as an exercise. But I said, what I can do is I can go walk for the next 15 minutes. I can go walk 10 minutes after dinner. I can walk 10 minutes after lunch. I can walk 10 minutes as soon as I get up. And then as soon as you get that little bit of momentum, or like when I've been sick, and then I think about, you haven't worked out in a week or two just because you've been ill. And then it's like, oh, hell no, I ain't going to go do a Murph. But what I can do is I can do 10 sets of jumping jacks and 10 sets of push-ups on Monday, and do some little intervals and stuff. And I can build back up to it. So within a couple weeks, I'm right. Well, now it takes longer than 2 weeks to build back up, but you build it back up. You can't start here. You got to start here and do little stuff that you can do. I had a friend of mine who is an animal psychologist, and she told me it's called the principle of straining at the leash. That what you want to do if you want to encourage a dog to do something is not let them do it. Have them want to do it, and then hold them back from doing it. And they will then build a habit and build their own momentum that will sustain, because they think it's their idea. So you're not forcing them to do it. They want to do it. And if you hold them back, it makes them want to do it even more. So it's not a negative. It's a way to influence behavior. So I do that to myself all the time, where it's like, okay, I mean, any jackass can walk down to the mailbox. It's like, okay, just walk to the mailbox. I ain't just gonna walk to the mailbox. I'm gonna run a mile, and then and then you just start doing it. That's the whole point with procrastination, or getting into action, building a habit. Ultimately, what you want is with the habit, it hurts worse not to do the action than it does to do it. That's when you have built a habit. When I'm coming back in, I'm like, damn, I didn't do my video yet. let me just grab my camera and just do a video. And I know the formulas. And so then I go and do the video and I'm like, that was okay. But if I'd have used a wizard, it would have been a lot better. And then it gets, so then the next day I sit down, okay, I'll use a wizard for a few minutes and then I'll go do the thing. And yeah, it was better with the wizard because I didn't forget parts and it wasn't too long and all this other stuff. I mean, it's keeping, consistent action is about building the habit, but breaking that cycle of inaction is understanding that momentum is at work in your life all the time. You just need to control that momentum and use it to move in a direction you want to, instead of that momentum keeping you at a standstill.
I would agree, sir.
So cool.
I like that. Now, would you like to hear some deep thoughts by Stu?
Holy crap. Of course I would. In fact, let me. Yes, Stu, I'd love to hear some deep thinking from you.
Yes. I was, I don't know what happened, but I was just thinking about, if you could go back in time, right, and change something, how that would change your present, right? There's all types of movies about doing something small that had changed the present, right? But, and a lot of people wish they could go do that, right? But they don't realize the power of now to change your future. That little one thing that you can do right now that can change the next several years.
Today is the future you set in motion yesterday.
Yeah, I like that one.
I like it. And you're right. So what do you give us some examples of some things people might want to do by buying that winning lottery ticket today, looking back 5 years from now?
Well, that'd be cool if you had those numbers.
Please. Of course. Yeah. And if you have those numbers, don't be like the chump, in the movie who goes, yeah, I won the $1 million. Oh, heck no. I'm going to win that one when it gets up to like $750 million. Yeah, I'm going to win that one and be the sole winner. And I'm going to take it all at once.
No,
me over 40 years.
It's just everything that we're talking about, just starting, getting something done today, because it does make a big difference, because and then you look back and you're like, man, I wish I'd have done that 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. Right. You've done that before. And we talked about, when you have a good idea and something, or just something to do that is going to make a difference. It's life changing. It Absolutely. Really is, and
I just wonder what would have happened if there are certain things I wonder about. What would my life be like if I had started or stayed on my fitness journey when I was 21? When I was 21, I was in really good shape. What if I had not smoked that cigarette when I was 20 years old, junior in college, and ended up smoking for 10 years? What would life have been like if I had gotten back on the fitness trail in 2002 instead of 2012? But I thank God every day that I got back on the fitness trail in 2012, because I'm coming up on 10 years now of being in good shape. Yeah. Better late than never,
Or what would have happened if I had not sold Apple stock in 1997?
Oh, you ain't even lying. because I had a crap ton of Apple stock when it was $40.
Oh,
and,
I know.
And sold it when it was 75, and I thought I was big pimping.
Hey, man. Double of money.
I'm a player. And then, what if I could have bought 1,000 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 10,000 shares of Netflix when it was $2?
Yeah.
So.
But don't look backwards. Don't look backwards. Look forward.
But somewhere
learn from your history, though.
Somewhere along the line, you got to learn from your own personal history. Learn from the things that you see in your life. I mean, I'll tell you one that I have learned from. When I launched Mini Site Creator, we were selling a video course with teleseminars. because there was no effective online video. There was no way. Their webinars did not exist. So I was selling a video course on CD-ROM using teleseminars. And I was even thinking about this morning. What if instead of trying to do one teleseminar a week, I had done a teleseminar a day? I would have, we sold millions of dollars of that product. Could I have sold tens of millions of dollars of that product? Even now it's like, hey, let's do a webinar, but once a week or whatever. But with the amount of traffic that you can get and reach that you can get, what if I was doing a webinar a day? And then the voice says that, well, yes, you could, but if you were doing it live every single day, you would be driving yourself nuts. And that's not what I want to do. Not because I'm procrastinating, but just that's not how I want to live my life. But then I had thought of, well, okay, if you don't want to do it live every day, you could do it evergreen. And then I said, well, yeah, duh, I'm already doing that. And then I shut up and moved on to another topic. This was all while I was rucking. So just learning from your own personal histories and spotting patterns in your own behavior, patterns in other people's behaviors, knowing that when things are here, it's time to look backwards and see, before when things were here, what came next. I was been talking about all this crap that Facebook's doing with their advertising for a couple, 3 years now, saying, hey, just be ready. This is what's going to happen. This is exactly what's happening. Because it happened with GoTo. It happened with whatever GoTo turned into Overture, then Overture turned into Bing, Google AdWords, what they did, all these patterns, same pattern over and over and over and over and over and over again. So yes, very important. So cool.
Yeah. So I think that wraps up the Jim and Stu show. Who's ready for podcast 133?
You didn't want to see the cool little scriptcaster thing?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, well, you don't really want to see it, so
no. I think that'd be a great transition.
Nope. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no problem. So one of the things that with funnel scripts, the Jim Edwards Method Premium, traffic secret scripts, fill my webinar scripts, content marketing scripts, author wizards, all these different iterations of the wizards for different purposes. One of the things, we have a lot of people who are in everything. That's what, so we had all these scripts in these different places, and they were for different purposes and stuff. So then we had the scripts. I feel like I should have that music from 2001. Dun, 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 dun. So imagine that going in the background. Then, Stu, we had the avatar. The avatar, one script to fill out and then load either all or some of the variables to keep consistent in other scripts.
Genius.
Then came the need for being able to easily grab output from various scripts and be able to use it in other places. For example, creating headlines and emails and then moving them over into, say, your email program, or creating calls to action and having them readily available to use for, at the end of videos or at the end of Facebook posts, or any of the different things that you would want to use this stuff for. And the fact that you now can move your avatar throughout these different sites and you're able to get output from all the different sites. Stu, how do you keep it organized? I'm about to show you. Okay. Come on, man. Well, that's when another dream was born, and we called it Scriptcaster.io. And so basically what it was is I eventually visualized, what if Evernote and my wizards had an illegitimate dumpster baby together. And so that's where it came from. And we're keeping it simple right now. So I'm going to show you. It's pretty cool. I'm excited. And maybe I'll be the only one, but hey, at least I'll use it. So over here we have, say, the killer ebook title wizard. Okay. And you go through here and you load in your avatar and you start coming up with all kinds of cool titles, potential titles for your avatar. I mean, excuse me, for your book. And then over here inside of funnel scripts, you have loaded the same avatar. I don't know if the same avatar loaded or not, but you start coming up with subject lines for your emails and stuff. All right. And so you say, man, I got to gather all this stuff up in a project. So over here is scriptcaster.io. It's an extension. It's approved by the Google Chrome store. It's called Scriptcaster, and we can create a new project. We'll call this Stew Demo. Click Add. Come over here to projects. We'll open Stew. You can see it's empty, Stew. It's empty.
I see.
But watch this. Stu goes through and he says, oh man, I need to get me some ebook titles. So you see we got the icon here with the shopping cart. When I click that, it'll add it to the clip bin.
Mm-hmm.
But when I click this, it goes up into the cloud to scriptcaster.io. So now I'm coming through and I'm like, I like this one. I like this one. So imagine these are tweets or ad headlines or calls to action or all kinds of stuff. So now I come over here into funnel scripts and I'm like, oh, this subject line looks good. And this one looks good. I like that one. I like that one. Ooh, these are amazing. And then you say, okay, now it's like I've been a little kid on Halloween, hopped up on Pixie Sticks and Jolt Cola. I come over here into scriptcaster.io and I click on it and look, there's all my stuff that I just gathered and I can, let's say, oh, I want to use it, get more clicks in 5 days or pay nothing. I want to use that. Well, then I just click this and I've just copied it to my clipboard so I could paste it in anywhere. All right. Or if I want to, I can go in and I could say, you know what? I kind of like that, but I would edit that. So I can click that. It takes me over here and I can edit it. And I could say, or your money back. And I can click save. And there it is. So the cool thing is that I can create projects. Like I could call this my book sales copy project. Add. So now I go over to book sales copy project. It's empty because it's a new project. So then I say, okay, let me come up with let me find a title. Here's a title. So it adds it to there. And then let's say, okay, now I need to do a description, or let's say I want to do, I don't know. Well, we'll come over here. Let's say I want to write a sales letter for it. This one will blow your mind. I go to the mega sales letter script. I don't even know what this is automatically loading in here. Is the last thing I messed with. But I click build and I have a choice. Once I go through all this, get it dialed in the way I want it, I can click this thing and it will load this whole sales letter into the cloud. Or it should have. My guy's doing some stuff, so that may have. Let me hit refresh. We had a little bug going on with the copy button because of implementing this, so it may be he's doodling around on this particular site right this second. Let's try again. All right, it's not showing up in there from here right now, but it will. Yeah, he's fixing it. So anyway, that isn't as auspicious as I would have liked, but
It's all
it
right.
definitely is showing up over in there. But let me check one other thing. Subject line, but it was working for the email subject lines, right? So let me see something. Okay, could just be something with that one. Then I gotta check that. It might be too big. I gotta check that with him.
So why did you feel you needed to do Scriptcaster?
So the biggest reason why was because it was becoming kind of a pain in the rear end to be able to move stuff around and to put all the pieces together to be able to. It's one thing to be able to copy and paste. It's another thing to be able to assemble all the parts that I want to use for a project from all these different script groups, or even just from all these different scripts, or even from a specific script, and keep them all in one spot.
One option. Yeah, I got you.
Right. Keep them all in one thing. And yeah, you could do it with text files, and yeah, you could do that, but it's not as cool as always having it available. Plus, like if I go in here, I'm gonna come back over here and show you. So let's say I'm messing around with the stealth closes. And okay, like the stealth close wizard. And I can even come up here and say like 7-day ebook stealth closes. All right, I add that, open that, and let me load the 7-day ebook avatar. All right. So now I click build, and I forget, if you're looking to quickly get your book published and available for sale, this book 7 days signatures. Okay, that's a good one. I like that. So let me make sure it's adding it. Yep, there it is. So let me do another one. So now, let's say I'm doing a video, or let's say I'm doing an article, or let's say I do a Facebook Live, and then I want to say, okay, let me put a call to action with this real quick. Now all I got to do, if I'm not going to Facebook right now because Lord knows what'll show up. I learned that the other day. I can't help it what other people post or when people direct message me. But if I go over, imagine that this humble text document is Facebook. Now, instead of trying to come back here and mess around with this, I just come up here, I load my 7-day stealth closes. I say, okay, forever, if you want to use your own, okay, let me copy this one, and I've got it. And then literally I can just paste it in wherever, and
Nice.
it's there. So I've got it in my browser with me all the time when I'm doing stuff online. So, headlines, or great example.
So it's a great assembly tool.
Right.
Where
but
you
like
can go headlines and closes and
right. Yeah. But like what I do in one sentence, I mean, I've got mine memorized. Okay. But what if I wanted to have different ones for different people and be able to shove it over there? So, I could have several of them. And now, I got them. And it even tells you underneath where it came from. So it could be quick, 7-day ebooks, quick snippets. And then you can switch between all of them, come over to the dashboard. And if I want to, I don't know if I can change the name of it or not. Yeah, I can't. Once it's named, I can't change the name. But now they're all right here. I can edit them. and then I can have access to them. And plus, you know, you have the option of having it show up in this pop over, but then you can also just open it as a page in your browser, switch between them, and then be able to access everything. And you know which wizard it came from. So anyway, that's why it's simple, but I think it's going to be very valuable moving forward, especially when we do things with when we do more and more stuff with wizards, and I see how to incorporate it with teaching people a procedure and a process. It's like, okay, go here, grab this, stick that in your thing. Now go here, grab this, stick that in your thing. Now come back over here, and we're going to use all these pieces and get it done. I mean, I could see some really killer online workshops doing it that way and making it super easy for everybody to gather that up. So you can go to the Chrome store. I'm trying to get the web store. I'm going to do a search for it real quick. And here's the link. I'm going to put the link into this for everybody. But you can go install it in your Chrome, use it, and I don't have any of the help videos or anything done yet, but I just put it in there for everybody. So something you can go play with now, and anyway, so that's
Scriptcaster.
Yeah, that's the scoop. That's the scoop on that. Scriptcaster.
Script.io.
So I need to get the domain set up so we can just tell people to go to Scriptcaster. So we're working on it, but I'm excited about it. I mean, it's something that I wanted to use in using the scripts. So anyway, I think it'll be neat. So shall we do we'll do an abbreviated podcast real quick?
It won't take long. Yeah.
Okay. So do you guys think that looks cool? Is that something that, especially those of you that use wizards, use funnel scripts, use the Jim Edwards Method Premium, use Ticket scripts, use Fill My Webinar scripts, all those different things? Can you see some use to be able to capture all those things like that? I'm just curious. So
yes,
hopefully you do. All right, so let's jump on over here and we'll start the podcast.
133.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks podcast. I'm your host, Jim Edwards, along with my trusty co-host, Mr. Stu Smith. Welcome, Stu.
Thank you, Jim.
This is episode 133. We're setting you free with 133. All I got it. I don't have to have hundreds of rhymes, Stu. I just need 10.
Yeah, that's true.
For each number. So what are we talking about today?
All right. So we're talking about a calendar, a marketing calendar.
Okay.
Right. Because a lot of people, I think, work up to do something on the marketing level every once in a while.
Right.
Versus considering it to be a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, seasonally, special occasions, and of course, Black Friday, Cyber Mondays, right? It is a bigger event than just throwing up something, on a random week, right? It's not like having a sale, right?
Right.
So it's what I wanted to talk about is ask people, do you have a marketing calendar to keep you accountable? It's just something to consider. And, what are some of your habits that you have going on now that are part of your system? And can you do better? What can you do better? One thing that I wanted to bring up was something that you and I created during the DIY media marketing program, the DIY business action plan.
Okay.
right? And this was just it's a printed out piece of paper that I laminated, and I keep it right on my desk. And it has everything from, create daily content, upload to Facebook, to YouTube, free advertising. And, there's some here that are not daily, but every other day or weekly. Um, podcasting's one of them. Create your book or ebook. Obviously that's not a weekly event, right? But maybe every couple of months or season you come up with a new ebook type plan. I remember once I had a challenge myself to do an ebook a month when I was first starting to make sales of ebooks.
That's
And I did it. Well, I did 10 of them. I did 10 of them in a year.
okay.
And it was good. It was just all specific to what I was doing, but I had a plan to do that. And then, it's one thing to write the ebook. Now you got to sell it. And so that requires some marketing, and that's where this comes in. Your marketing calendar. So I know you have a great system, and I was wanting you to share it if you would.
Well, basically everything is just built around on a daily level and a weekly level. I've found, kind of knowing the direction that you're heading all the time is important, but it's important from the standpoint of just managing your day-to-day activity. You can't, in other words, if you get too broad and too far out, nothing gets done. And so it's kind of like your fitness goals. If you want to reach a certain weight and you gain a certain weight, everything has to filter back down to what you're doing for the 60 to 90 minutes a day that you're working out, and also for your diet, and then also for your sleep and recovery. So, and then that daily stuff can extend out to what you're doing this week, this month, this quarter, and then the year. So it all has to relate, but it all has to filter back to what you're doing today. So I have a daily plan where daily I got to create some sort of content every single day. I've got to create some sort of value every single day for my peeps. This is an example of this is what I'm doing today to create value for my people. Then weekly, we have a system where basically right now how it works is Sunday, we tell people where I'm going to be live, where they can get the value. Then on, in the mornings, I try and do Jim's Gem or laying chickens out with Jim or Jim's thoughts or something like that. And then, on Tuesdays, I do certain things. On Wednesdays, we have the podcast. I sometimes I'll have lives in the afternoon. Sometimes I have lives with the funnels, with the ClickFunnels guys, and and then something else. And so there's always something happening, but there's also a theme that we try and have a monthly theme, a quarterly campaign. For a couple of, for a year and a half, it was all based around copywriting secrets. Everything led towards copywriting secrets. Everything led towards funnel scripts. Everything led towards, whatever the big thing is that we're focusing on without losing sight of everything else. Then right now, the big focus is on, or has been on 7-day ebook, getting your ebook done, but it all interrelates with the other stuff. So we got this big universe that we operate in, Jim's world. And then there are certain things that we focus on, all having to do with content creation and sales messaging, and then specific things that we're focused on and also the membership, so all these other things kind of filter people into the membership. So we know the direction, and we have seasons within the business. We're getting ready to go into a season of content marketing scripts. That's going to be a big push for months now, nice. Or for months to come. But that's been building on the back end for, behind the scenes for a while. So it all, though, comes back to what are you doing every day as it relates to the big picture. Again, but that relates to anything, planning, doing. You're calling it a marketing calendar, but it could just as well be if you were trying to go to become a Navy SEAL, or if you were trying to graduate from college. I mean, college is a great example of dividing everything up into by a calendar and by, seasons called semesters. And you have a syllabus that lays it all out for you, and you know what you should be doing instead of drinking and smoking cigarettes and chasing girls at the bars, till 2:00 in the morning on weeknights. That's what you should. Now it's back to our original thing about procrastination. So that's what I do as far as a marketing calendar. Do I have a specific calendar that is, do I have a specific calendar? Like I have my calendar evolves from my daily planning sheet. And this is my daily planning sheet. I have one of these filled out every single day. And then this is based on what our big push is right now. What's the thing we're really focused on and concentrating on. But you also don't want to be so locked into, this is exactly what we're doing for the next 3 months. This is all we're doing, blah, blah, blah. You got to be able to react. You got to be able to adapt. One of the cool things that we've started doing that was just came to us one day is we said, you know what, in our newsletter, we ought to start including a customer testimonial in every newsletter.
Big.
And the interesting thing that's happening, I think it was from a conversation that we had. And the funny thing is that now that we've been sharing customer testimonials, we've been getting more unsolicited customer testimonials than ever before, because people are seeing testimonials from other people like, oh, I'll give you a testimonial. And so they're giving us content to put in our newsletter. So anyway, that's my answer on the marketing calendar thing. There's all kinds of activity. Here's the other thing. If you wanted to, you could hold that list up again, Stu. If you wanted to, you could work 18 hours a day doing everything that's on that list. That list is like a menu. When you go to a restaurant, you don't open the menu and say, "Yep, I'll take it all." Remember that Monty Python, The Meaning of Life, at the end when the guys couldn't eat another bite, and then he blows up.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't do it all. You gotta pick and choose. And one of the things to not do is confuse activity with productivity or accomplishment.
Right.
So the other thing is, on my marketing calendar and the things that I do, I engage in the activities, not the 20-80, but I engage in the 10-90. It has gotten to the point now where 10% of your activities are going to give you 90% of your results, especially when it comes to communicating with your audience. There are just certain things right now that are pretty much the way to do it. And it's running Facebook ads to reach people you don't know. At least for me, it's running Facebook ads to reach people you don't know, sending emails to people who are already on your list, and then using Facebook and Facebook Lives to get people who aren't on your list onto your list, and to make friends and build relationships and influence with people that are already your friends. That's the 10% that gives me 90% of my results right now. So that's what we focus on.
Yeah. My big thing is, and you're 100% right about taking it down to the daily level. Your week is going to depend on your days, right? Your months are going to depend on your days and weeks, but you may do something different. For instance, I write 4 articles a week. I do 2 to 3 podcasts a week, so it's not every day that I do these things, obviously, but in the end of a week, these are the things that I have done. Every day I'm on social media, posting something, sharing something. And there are seasons that I change what type of information that I am exposing my audience to.
Exposing yourself to your audience? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So, when right now, I'm focused on gearing everybody up towards a winter lift cycle, right? Winter's coming, right? And we're going to change things up. So it's just
I'm
Just a
looking forward
different-
to that, by the way. Just
Yeah.
as an aside, I'm tired
little
of
less
those.
running, little less running, and a little
Yeah.
more lifting. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but and like Jim was saying, you also have to be very flexible. Not every one of your days are going to be perfect. Whenever we were considering starting a podcast, that was one of those things that just came out of an unscheduled idea of adding something to our way of communicating with customers.
And the adaptability thing, what you just said, sometimes you just have to focus on the essence of what needs to get done because of what life is throwing at you. So you're like, okay, I need to create some value for my people. I don't have time to do a 90-minute webinar, but I have time to do a 90-second webinar. So sometimes, I know I want to work out every day, but sometimes I don't have 90 days to do it. Just stuff happens, emergencies, medical stuff, family, things. But I can focus on, okay, what's the essence of what I'm trying to do today? Today is about cardio. Okay, well, let me go run 2 miles as fast as I can. Or let me, if today is about full body, let me do I can't do all the things that Stu wants me to do, but I can do a 1 to 10 pull push pyramid real fast and just at least get that. It's just, sometimes if you're focused on the essence, that's as important than getting everything done, because it keeps you in the game. It keeps you mentally where you need to be as well. Plus, having and maintaining just some thread of momentum and not losing the momentum is critical in your marketing and communication and stuff.
Hey, to wrap this up, Jim, I'm going to give a Stu Jim.
Stu Jim. Stu
G-
Jim?
G-E-M.
Are you a Stu Gem? I thought you said Stu Jim. I thought that made me think of Larry Moe and Curly.
No, Stu Jim.
Okay.
Yes. And when in doubt, right? You're looking for something to do. And today is a great day to do it because it is payday. Post a testimonial somewhere throughout your world of articles. It could be an email. It could be a social media post. Could be a live something, whatever. Post it. Get it up there. Get it up today. And if you can't get it today, get it the some Friday, because some
get day money before somebody else do.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Testimonials on payday. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but notice, I bet, with you sharing testimonials, see if you notice a difference between payday and a not payday week.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's called knowing your audience, because I have no clue when my audience has a payday. No clue. I really don't.
Well, you can assume. I mean, everybody gets paid every 2 weeks,
right,
typically, or the 1st and the 15th.
Well, it's interesting. Trying different stuff. Really, what you're saying is try different stuff, and here's something cool that works for me, and I notice that it works, and by golly, I'll keep doing it consistently until it stops working.
Yes.
And the other interesting thing is that sometimes you try something and it works, and you're like, oh my God, I just discovered the holy grail. And then you try it again and it doesn't work again. or it gets regressively less effective.
Doesn't work as well. Yeah.
Right. I don't know the answer to that one, other than you just have to keep trying new stuff.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of like, I love tacos, and I wish we had Taco Tuesday at our house. I would eat tacos every Tuesday. I love tacos, ground beef tacos, and just, they're just crunchy. But if we had tacos every night, I would hate tacos after about a week and a half.
Of course.
And so if you think about it that way, you keep doing the same thing over and over and over for your audience, and like, why don't you guys like this anymore? Because we've had tacos every night for the last 3 weeks. Oh, okay. Now, the one thing nobody ever gets tired of is
Mr. Pickles. Where's Mr.
I just
Pickles?
blew that. I blew it.
The one thing nobody ever gets tired of is pickles. Everybody loves pickles, all the time.
So
That is true.
point is, though, that's one of the things that you just have to be aware of. That sometimes, like what Stu says, maybe that's like the perfect thing. Every payday. But the thing is, if you're doing it every payday, it means you're only doing it every couple of weeks or once a month. Doesn't mean you're doing. Stu didn't say do testimonials every day. If you did testimonials every day, everybody would tell you to stick it in your ear. Now, we did try something different yesterday that I got to check with Susan on. It could have blown up. It could have done great. It could have done nothing. But we got a long testimonial from somebody, like a letter.
Mm.
And I said, this is pretty good. I mean, this guy really tells his story. Let's send this as a standalone email and see what happens. Let's send this to the list and say,
You did that yesterday?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Could be something. It's close to payday.
Yeah. So we'll see. You know, it's one of those things that we'll see what happens, but you got to try different stuff. Carlin says, I read it. Notice he didn't say, I read it and it was great. I read it and it was amazing. It's like, I read it. But Carlin's already bought. So, you know, I need like
sometimes those are inspirational.
Oh, and that was the other thing.
You know?
We want it to be inspirational for people as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you bought or not. I just need me 10,000 Carlins. That's what I need. I need 10,000 Carlins and Vickies and Kevins and Gordons and all of you who are awesome. So, okay. Well, that's pretty much. Oh, I just heard back from my programmer, as a total aside. He checked that and said and confirmed that, in fact, it's not working for that one wizard. He said, I don't know why it's not working just for that one wizard. You picked the one. But he's deploying a patch and some other stuff. So we'll have it squared away. But I'm excited about using that to keep all my little script output stuff together. The interesting thing, the whole reason that originally we came up with it was because I was trying to create a bridge between funnel scripts and ClickFunnels. So you create your sales letter or whatever, and then, or your headlines or your bullets and all that stuff, and then having a way to insert it over into ClickFunnels. Well, ClickFunnels is changing. And I was talking to one of the head programmers, and he said, instead of thinking about it like going straight into ClickFunnels, why don't you think of it like Evernote, having a bridge as a browser extension. And the light bulb went off, and that's when Scriptcaster.io
great idea.
was the idea for it. So, we're just going to get a bunch of people to use it. And
you can get that extension on
you
Chrome
can get
extension?
it now. You can get that Chrome extension now. I put the link in. I can't. It's a funky link that I can't. I can't say because it's a bunch of weird letters.
I see it. You put a link into it. I got it. Yeah.
But I gotta. Oh, thanks, Vicky. Vicky says you do have a great team. I have a wonderful team. My team is awesome. So we're gonna get the redirect set up from Scriptcaster.io, so we can just tell people that link and they can go there and get it. So it'll be cool.
On it. I got it.
Excited.
Just got it. That was quick, Jim. I just got it.
It was
that quick.
It's a lightweight little program.
It's nice.
Hang on one second. My guy just said, hey, I just reloaded. It just reloaded the entire script engine and said, can you try it and see if the button's working now? And I'm going to click the button, and the button says, I work. Yay. That's amazing. Anyway, all right, that's enough. Enjoyed seeing y'all today. Great job, Stu. Great job, everybody. And we'll look forward to seeing you. Anybody who's headed to Funnel Hacking Live, I will see you next week.
Take action.
Everybody, yes, take action. Everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.